Okay, assalamu alaikum, dear students. So we are back once again with another scope of linguistics, that is morphology. If you recall, when we said that morphology is an important aspect of language, or another component, another major or key component of linguistics, that is, the study of how words are formed. Okay. In linguistics, phonology is the study of words. It's the study of words and how they are formed. The study of the internal structure of words, especially the complex words. In linguistics, morphology is the study of words and how they are formed, how they are built. The study of the internal structure of words. It analyzes the structure of words and parts of words, such as stems, roots, prefixes, suffixes. So if we have the word university, we are able to divide this word into its smallest parts. In linguistics, once again, morphology is the study of words and how they are formed, the study of the internal structure of words. It analyzes the structure of words and parts of words, such as stems, root words, prefixes, and suffixes. Complex words are easily broken into smaller parts. So what is a morpheme? What is a morpheme? A morpheme, if you remember in other previous lectures at university, when you studied that a morpheme is the smallest linguistic meaning utterance. If you say cat, this is a morpheme, it's a free morpheme. If I say cats, you recall that is a morpheme, but this is bound morpheme, okay? So based on this, so cat is a free morpheme, it has full meaning, it can stand alone. But is doesn't have full meaning, but it has some kind of limited meaning because it has a grammatical function. So a morpheme is the smallest speech unit, not sound, which has meaning or limited meaning depending on what it is, what kind it belongs to, or depending on its type. So once again, a morpheme is not identical to a word, because all words can stand alone, but some morphemes can't stand alone, because they can be prefixes or suffixes, adding to the beginning of the word or end of the word. The main difference between them is that a morpheme sometimes doesn't stand alone, but a word can stand alone. Once again, a word can stand alone, but not all morphemes can stand alone. Only three morphemes can stand alone. Book, glass, winter are three morphemes. Okay. A meaningful morphological unit of a language that can't be further divided. This is another definition of a morpheme. We have N. N is a morpheme. It can't stand alone, but it can't be divided into other smaller units. Come is a free morpheme. It can't be divided into other elements. Ing, it can't be divided into other elements. But when we combine them together, okay, we will have the word incoming. Incoming. So you can divide the word incoming into its smaller parts or constituent elements. In, come, then ing. Why is the study of morphology very useful? This is very useful because the study of morphology increases our wealth of vocabulary items, and it enables us to derive as many words as we can from the same word, from the same root. And in addition, it can help us understand or guess, in terms of a prediction, predicting the meaning of strange words, unfamiliar words. So if you have strange words, try to divide the word into its, smaller parts so you can guess the meaning from the root. For example, we have the verb add. So if we add ing, adding, you know the meaning of adding because you know the meaning of the base, add. Then we have addition, shin, this is noun, additional, additive. Then we have act, actor, actress, action, activity, activate, activation, deactivate, deactivation. If you know the meaning of activate, then it is easy to know the meaning of activation. If you know the meaning of activate, then you know the meaning of deactivate. Deactivation, يفعل, تفعيل, عدم تفعيل, إبطال. So they all share the meaning of the morpheme add and act. So add means to increase something, to add something, and act means to do something. Free and bound morphemes. Free morphemes are those morphemes that can stand alone. They have some meaning in themselves, but free bound morphemes, they can't stand alone, but they have very limited meaning, mainly functional meaning. They have a grammatical meaning. They show sometimes a plural, tense, position, and so on. Right? So free morpheme, it is the morpheme that can occur as a single word with meaning as act in acta, but is a bound morpheme because it can't stand alone. Example, girl, system, desire, hope, act, phone, happy. All these are free morphemes that can stand alone. Bound morpheme, it is the morpheme that can't stand alone as a single word, as a single word, as or in actor, or. Productive, if, in the word productive, can't stand alone, so it is a bound morpheme. It only gains its grammatical meaning when added to another word. So it has meaning only when connected to other morphemes, and uncover, and do, this, please, this, disconnect, predetermine, okay, prejudge, singer, performer, typist, pianist, phonologist, psychologist, ly, manly, happily, successfully, and unkindness, and so on. So all these is, inst, if, tick are considered bound morphemes because they can't stand alone. They are always attached either to the beginning or the end of the word. Lexical and functional morphemes. What does mean by a lexical morpheme? A lexical morpheme that looks like or that is a content word, like verbs, adjectives, adverbs. They can stand alone. So free morphemes fall into two categories. The first category is called lexical morphemes. It is a set of ordinary nouns, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, and so on. We call them content words because they carry meaning, they convey meaning, they have some meaning in themselves. Okay, functional morphemes. A functional morpheme consists of functional words that have function, like prepositions, articles, demonstratives, and so on. Because, on, near, above, all of them have grammatical functions. So they are called functional morphemes, or functional words. Affixes, if you recall, are divided into two parts. Prefixes and suffixes. Prefixes in Arabic means بادئة تضاف إلى أول الكلمة, and suffixes لاحقة تضاف إلى آخر الكلمة. So prefixes added to the beginning of the word and suffixes added to the end of the word. Okay. The word unhappily is made up of a base morpheme, happy, and the bound morphemes are an and li. So an is an opposite, it gives the opposite, and ly is the adverb suffix. These elements are called affixes. Affixes are bound morphemes that can be attached to the beginning or end of the words. If it has to do with the beginning, we say prefixes. If it has to do with the end of the word, we say suffixes. Okay, affix, simple form. Okay, affix. And we have say affix, that is a prefix. Simple form happy, that is the root, and ly is another affix. But if we want to be more accurate, an is a prefix, happy is a root, and ly is suffix, that is adverb suffix. Prefixes, once again, are the parts we add to the beginning of a word. We say this and is this, indirect in, understand, okay, and so understate, we have under state, that gives the opposite meaning. Suffixes are parts we add to the end of the word. There are millions of examples. Now we move to derivational and inflectional morphemes. Derivational means اشتقاقي. Inflectionals نحوي. Derivational morphemes هي التي إذا دخلت إلى الكلمة إما تغير نوعها من فاعل إلى اسم إلى صفة إلى حال. It changes the meaning of the word and or part of speech, but inflectional morphemes do not change. Derivational morphemes, they can be suffixes or prefixes. But remember, inflectional morphemes are always, once again, inflectional morphemes are always suffixes. So you will ever and never forget this. They involve a change in the word meaning and a class of the word or part of a speech. This is for derivational because we derive. You see the examples, and plus happy equals unhappy. So it changes in meaning because happy Saeed, unhappy Thais or Hazin. Okay, we have in plus rich. So we have the word enrich. Rich is an adjective. When we add in, that is the prefix, it gives the verb, enrich you three. Rich, Ghani, enrich you three. Okay. Derivational affixes always precede inflectional ones if they come in the same word. So التوابع اللواحق الاشتقاقية دائما تسبق اللواحق النحوية. Okay, this is very clear. If I say okay, teach, then we add er, teacher. So er is derivational morpheme, so we say teachers. So the plural s that is inflectional morpheme is added to derivational morpheme. This is very clear. For example, modern, modernize, modernizes. You say modern is the base, is the root, then is a verb suffix, then we add the s that shows tense, present simple. No other affixes can be added after inflectional ones. Okay, so we can't add other elements after the inflectional morpheme. Inflectional affixes and morphemes are suffixes, elements that are added to the end of the word. Okay, this is very clear. They don't come at the beginning of a word, so this is for suffixes. There are only 8 inflectional morphemes in English. They don't change the meaning or part of speech, but derivational morphemes do. Okay, so if you look, boy, boys, read, reads, so still boy is a noun. When you say boy is a noun, but adding the inflectional morpheme, the s, just changes the word from singular into plural. Oh, the same if I say tall, taller, big, bigger, etc. Okay, s, it is used for the plural s, to mark position, and to mark plural sometimes. Gale, Gale's box, Ali, Ali's box, etc. We don't want to waste time here. Okay, verb inflectional suffixes. Third person with verb, he plays football. And we have ed for past tense marker, he finished, he lived, he did, etc. Writing, he's writing, he's going. So they show tense. And then for the superlative form, adjective, inflectional suffixes, this is very clear. Big, bigger, biggest, fast, faster, faster, fastest. Okay. Derivation and inflectional affixes can sometimes be identical. That's of a great importance. If I say writing, this is something ambiguous because I don't know whether writing is a verb or a noun. I like writing. He's writing. So when it says writing a story, so writing, it doesn't change the meaning, not the part of the speech. Still, it's a verb. I like writing, writing, so it becomes noun. So sometimes when we add the ing and ed to the same verb, it may change its meaning, it may not, depending on the kind of morpheme. And so this is very clear. Okay, you see. Morphs and allomorphs. Okay, just we don't want to take much time. Morphs and allomorphs. A morph is simply the phonetic representation of a morpheme. How the morpheme is said. Okay, cats. S. Morpheme is pronounced s. S. Dogs. I don't say dogs. Morpheme is pronounced z. Okay. And houses. I don't say houses. Morpheme is pronounced is. Like when I say bag, bags, I don't say s. So you will find that the same inflectional morpheme s has a three different pronunciation. It can be s, it can be z, it can be is. Okay, so this is an allomorph. Like when I say e, the final ed. When the word live, it's lived. I don't say livid. In the word ask, we say asked. So the ed, I mean the final ed, which attached to the verb ask becomes it. Of course, there are rules for this, but we don't want to explain this now. Invite, invited. So the final ed can be pronounced t, or d, or it. Okay, that's very clear. We don't want to waste time here. Everything is clear. Okay, morpheme, smallest meaningful unit, can't be further divided or analyzed. Okay, into other elements. Unthinkable, we have unthink and able. Unthinkable. So un gives the opposite, think is the root, and able is the adjective suffix. Example, box equals book, and that is the plural, okay? Allomorphs are different form of the same morpheme or basic unit of meaning. They can be different pronunciations or different spellings, as I said. If you recall, he plays, he acts. We don't say he plays, he plays, and he acts, so يمثل, okay? He loves, he watches, he watches, and so on. Okay, position, okay, positioning bound morpheme. Derivation morphemes can be prefixes or suffixes, and we mentioned this. Inflectional morphemes are only suffixes, okay, they come at the end of the word. Word can have at its end, okay, two, sometimes more derivation morphemes, as in naturalize. So we have nature, then we have al, that is the adjective suffix, then we have is, that is the verb suffix. So we have two derivational morphemes. So their position is at the end. If a derivational morpheme and an inflectional morpheme come at the end of the word, only the inflectional morpheme ends the word. So inflectional morphemes in the word. I mean, they come after the derivation morpheme. Naturalizes, naturalized. Economy, economizes, economized, and so on. You see, it's very clear. Note if a word ends in an inflectional morpheme, no other morphemes can be added to it. This is very clear. So cars, can I say cars is? No, absolutely not. The examples are very clear here. This inshallah will be presented, will be discussed or tackled in next classes. Thank you so much, dear students, for joining me.